Alright guys, in this video I'm going to run you through on an adventure I went on with the 200 series. Where did I go? Point Culver and the Bilbunya Sand Dunes. Stay tuned, I'll walk you through it and show you the gear I took with me. So 2 questions I asked myself before I went to this place. I need to make sure I wasn't going to lose my number plate, and ideally I wanted to get into camp before dark. Which one is yes and no? You'll have to find out. Okay, so how does this adventure start? Well, it actually started, my brother-in-law sent me a text message and said, hey, going to catch up with some friends down at Point Culver, you keen to come? And I was like, that's a bit of a mission, just to catch up on a weekend. Let's do it. Did it. It was amazing. Took the kids with me, as I've already mentioned. What we got up to, had some amazing dinners as well. The guys brought down some barbecues. We had roast chicken, brisket, pork, heaps of roast veggies. The food was amazing, and we had dinner well planned out. Sean, you'll second me on that. You'd appreciate that actually, from going out on that trip with Ronnie. Kids had fun. We went down the sand dunes, sandboarding, had kayaking, fishing, four-wheeling. There was quad bikes. It was an epic area. If you're thinking about doing it, I highly recommend it. Okay, so the last time I visited this area on an adventure was with Ronnie and Sean and Ryan and Jono with the crew filming. That was a bit of an epic adventure. It was 10 days. I decided I can do it quicker, 4 days. So hence I said 4 days, 2100 Ks. We covered similar sort of areas. We did go from Perth, left Perth, and I went all the way to Hyden, took the shortcut through to Norseman, filled up there, out to the 90-mile straight, grabbed some photos with the kids, and then headed down the, everyone knows it as the 44-gallon drum track, right down to the turnoff. At the bottom of that track, then you turn right and you head down the conveyor belts, back down to Point Culver, and that's where we camped. So that was a bit of a journey. Getting there, drove through the night, what have you. Obviously love lights. And to say this as well, it didn't change. I did arrive in camp that night in the dark, about 8 o'clock actually. Going down that track took me longer than I thought. All right, what the kids actually didn't know is I was doing work and play at the same time. Like any adventure trip, I like to put new products in the car, go out there, try it and test them, and know what I'm selling, so that when I say this is, I've used it, I personally have, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on what I took on this trip and what I thought of it. Okay, with that said, let's pop into the workshop, pop the bonnet, and let's run through it. So here we are, we've got the bonnet up, and I'm going to run you through some products. The first one being the Intercooler Fan Kit. So you might ask yourself, why have I got the Intercooler Fan Kits on there for going to Bilbunya Sand Dunes and Point Culver? Well, the story behind that, it's a long drive, and the sand dunes, I like to have a bit of fun in the sand dunes. Soft sand equals high EGTs, high transmission temperatures. The cooling system on a 200 series gets pretty hot when you're having some fun under heavy load conditions. So this assists in keeping the cooling capacity of the vehicle at where it needs to be, so you get optimum performance from your vehicle. Just some quick key features I want to run you through on this. We've developed this kit with thematical control over the fans and when they come in and at what temperatures. So it keeps an eye on draining the battery on startup, but also they don't come in when you don't need them. So, but another video more in depth about what vehicles they fit and how to fit it coming soon. Let's move on to number 2. So you might ask yourself, Donaldson Airbox and why, but if you're not aware of the dust ingression issue in a 200 series, you only have to type in dusted airbox 200 or something on Google, and you're going to get slammed with a ton of information, and Donaldson have come up with a solution that, let me just say, the reviews we're getting back is amazing. So check it out and see how good a job it really has done. Okay, so let's open this airbox up and really see the proof in the pudding, how good it really is. As you can see, there's evidence of fine dust already on the bottom of the filter. If you have a look in the housing, you're going to see the coarser grit that's left in the bottom there. But one thing you'll notice, it's very clean on the engine side, and also when you look in the top duct of the airbox, the clean side, it's super clean. There's not even a residue of any film of dust. I mean, that's what you want to see on a 200 series, given the problematic issues that people experience with these. But let's go over the bench, tap this thing out, and see how much of that real fine silty dust come out of it from my trip. Okay, so we're over at the workbench. I'm just going to tap it out. As you can see, a heap of fine dust has fallen out of the bottom of the dirty side of the filter. And like I mentioned earlier, this side here is super clean. I'm happy to say it's got a tick from me. The proof's in the pudding. I'm happy with it. Number 3, what is it? You guessed it, it's the number plate. Nah, just joking, but it is there. Just wanted to show you. Number 3 is actually up here. It's the Invicta hybrid battery. Okay, why a hybrid battery under the bonnet and why not just all lithium or what have you, all the different options on the market? I've gone for a hybrid because I want the auxiliary side of it, but I also want the ability to crank off of it. It's something that I am a strong believer on. If your main battery goes flat, the auxiliary battery is there to jumpstart when you hit the link battery on the switch. So that's why I've opted for a hybrid battery. Lithium from Invicta. This battery is what I've decided to go with. So on the trip I've tested it out. It's got 1400 cranking amp CCA, so it's amazing when you click that button and start the vehicle, the starter motor literally wants to jump out from the engine bay. Now how it works on the app, I had the travel buddy on, I had the fridge on, all the rock lights on, cam lights on. I had the travel buddy on for 4 hours, and I wanted to see how good this thing is, so I was determined to flatten this thing just to see if I could jump start it from the app. Well, I'm pleased to say in the morning I did flatten it, and I jump started it from the app, didn't even have to pop the bonnet. Once it started, then of course it's coupled with our dual battery kit. The BCDC kicked in, charged it, gave a little bit of charge, went for a bit of a drive around, what have you, in the morning, come back to camp, and obviously I've coupled our battery kit with a solar fixed panel on the roof, let it do its thing, and come night, battery's where it needed to be. So it ticks all the boxes, it starts the engine as well as has my auxiliary loads for the back of the vehicle. And an extra bonus I like, if you're running a winch and you link the batteries together when you're winching, this thing here, it's got some serious go in it. All right, enough in the engine bay. Let's jump into the cab. I'm going to show you a few things that I don't leave home without, and that's my GPS. I use a Garmin Tread unit. I started with an Overlander. I've gone towards a Tread. I'll tell you why in a minute, but I just want to make a disclaimer. All this sand from Bilbunya wasn't all my doing. I do have 2 kids, but I know it is on the driver's floor. But anyway, let's move on to the GPS and why I think it's great. Check it out. So this is my humble cockpit that I spent many hours driving to get lost in the dark, or camp in the dark, as Ronnie would say. Garmin, the Tread, once again, why? This unit here traditionally was designed to go into buggies, RTV buggies. What you'll see here is I've got a suction cap mounted onto a ram bracket. It usually comes with a rail mount, like a roll cage tube mount. I've modified it. It is a hardwired unit, which I prefer, so it's a little bit more on your install to do, but it just means it's hardwired and it's always connected. You're not trying to look for fuse holders in cigarette lighter sockets, which I've had before on other GPSs. The unit's compact. You can use the screen with gloves. The other bonus is this unit is fully IP rated, has an internal battery. You can take it out, use it at the campsite, bring it inside the house. You don't need an external power cable. One thing that, now this is the kicker, this is the bit I love. It has an internal memory as well as an external card you can take in and out. Now, the feature and what I really love about it is when you go into your maps, you actually get Google images as well as all your navigation and tracks. So you actually get to download while you've got internet and cache all the tracks, load them onto the unit so you've got Google images. You don't need any internet connection. You can see all those little secret spots and tracks that if you need to get out of a different situation, it's not part of the main track or on the navigation of the maps. You've got a solution here. You've got option A, B, and C. So, you know, you've got options there. It's a good little unit. I find it compact, it's small, it's not a huge screen. It's got an internal and an external card, but when I say download the maps, it gives you Google images so you see the complete map as well as the overlay of all the tracks. So if you get stuck somewhere, you can punch right into the tracks. You can see another option to get to where your final destination is. It's a great little thing when you're off-road and you're trying to navigate A, B, and C, especially if it's late at night and you can't see what's over and ahead of you. All right, so number 5, what is it? Let's open up the back of the car. I'm going to show you what number 5 is. Actually, no, it's not the number plate. I've got something better. When you get to camp and you've used that Garmin GPS and you arrive in the dark, there's one thing you need when you get there, and I'm going to show you what it is. You guessed it, It's our PDP dual coloured camp lights. Why am I mentioning this? Well, the new designs, we've got 3 lengths. We've got 300, 600 and a 900 available. But the best thing is as well, they're now dimmable. So you can tone the light down to suit your mood. So if you've got the red light, you get all no bugs, you can tone it right down as much as you want. Same thing with the white light, or you can blend the two. So there's 3 different color options. They're really great. I pretty much live by this whole camp light. Everything in the back of the car here, kitchen, prep, fridge, the whole lot. It lights it all up while we're doing everything. I don't really need any other lighting unless I'm navigating with the car at camp. This is my go-to. Okay, so trip review. I always look back and I go, what would I do differently? This trip, the kids mentioned to me, Dad, wouldn't it be bad to have a bit of warm water, you know, just to shower and what have you, wash up rather than being freezing cold. Some nights are a bit cold down there. And I was like, oh, whatever, we're camping. But on the way home, I pushed it. I wanted to get home. They had school on Monday, I had work. Let me say, on the side of the road at 1:30 in the morning, that water was freezing. So that hot water idea, sort of sinking in a little bit more with me at the moment. And lastly, what would I do differently? Probably be more planned and prepared, so I leave in daylight and arrive in daylight in the camp. I actually thought it was just going camping with Ronnie. It seems to be a thing that's happened to me. Even my kids say to me, Dad, we're at camp in the dark again. I said, yeah, it's good because you don't know what it's going to look like when we wake up in the morning, and I've now embedded that in them. So maybe a bit of trip preparation. Okay, so lastly, to close up this video, special mentions. And first of all, it's you guys that are watching it. It's great, and I really appreciate you following us and seeing our adventures, our products, and how we've evolved over the years. So hats off and a big thank you there. Also, this trip was put together from the crew at TJD Mechanical in Kalgoorlie. It was actually their work function, and I was a hitchhiker on it. I got invited, and they are an amazing bunch of crew. It was great. Their culture was on point. Their food was amazing. Jason, Tess, thanks for inviting us, and obviously my brother-in-law Travis, he instigated it, and yeah, it was a great trip. Once again, guys, if you're heading out on a trip and you know, you're going on an adventure, we want to see what you get up to. Tag us, send us a message with some photos. We'd love to share some of your gear as well, especially if it's got our stuff on it. If not, get out there, have some adventures. If there's an opportunity, take it, go do it, and seek it. Till the next time, see you out on the tracks.